Welcome to 1 Million Cups Kansas City. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. 1 Million Cup communities gather across the country every Wednesday to share presentations and make authentic connections. 1 Million Cup events are free, open to the public, and always have coffee.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Stephanie Swanson. I am one of our organizers here for 1MCKC. Welcome. So glad that you are here. If you haven't had a chance yet, please scan that QR code in front of you and check in. It helps us know how many people came, which helps make sure that we have the right room size for upcoming events. So that's really important for us. If you can check in, that really helps us out. So first and most importantly, every 1MC across the country has coffee and cookies, and our sponsor, because we are here in Kansas City, we are super grateful to have the Kaufman Foundation, who is our cookies sponsor. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all new types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. There are over 100 communities, I don't remember the exact number, across the country, and the 1 Million Cups communities are really an incredible space to connect with people. So, 1 Million Cups, what is it? We are a volunteer-led program. We are designed to educate, engage, connect with entrepreneurs. The most important thing that's unique about 1 Million Cups is it is 6-minute presentations, not pitches. These are not sales pitches. This isn't Shark Tank. This is a place for people to present about their business idea, and then 20 minutes of Q&A to hear and get ideas and connect with other people in the community who can help them. And we are going to introduce our first presenter. So this is Keenen Smith. He is the founder of Kecom, and I'm going to hand this over to you.
How you doing? Good morning. How you doing, 1 Million Cups? All right, we're live this morning. All right, so my name is Keenen Smith, founder and CEO of Kecom Robotics. All right, so a little bit about our company, right? So back in 2022, I was sitting in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, and I said, United States of America, we have a problem, right? The grounds were so dirty, but Dubai and other places around the country were a little bit cleaner than we are. So we started out coming up with some great ideas about brand and what America needed and reaching out to some different people. And we noticed we had a lot of different problems. So we created a company. When I say we, me and a few other fellas, we first started out as a waste management brand, right? And we soon transitioned over to a robotics company. So our company, firsthand, we've seen labor shortages, insufficiencies, outdated systems, and robotics not being prevalent in the current ecosystem, right? We're not building robots; we're building infrastructure that makes robotics usable. Everybody been in Quick Trip? Raise your hand. You been in Quick Trip? All right. You see the little robot that's actually on the ground? It's called a CC1 Pro. The reason why that robot is there is to be able to collect data from cleaning floor space, right? It's an amazing product that actually shows you the capabilities of robots, AI, and also what the robots are actually capable of. This other product here is called the MT1. Is actually an indoor and outdoor sweeper, right? It sweeps the floors. The big guy there on the end is called the KS300. That's a robot that we use for stadiums, downtown city council, community improvement districts and different things like that. The reason why we have these products being put in place is because we wanted to make it easier for companies to be able to be mobile, to use mobility in robots. One of our biggest challenges in our industry, within America right now, is the ability to get hold of a robot and to actually put it into homes or for people to be able to actually use them. So Kecom did something very, very brave and something very, very crazy. We said, hey, we made a piece of fintech software called KeyServe that enables you to be able to actually purchase and finance a robot from a mobile app. Isn't that great? All right. Another problem was that cities and enterprises actually move slow due to the procurement barriers. Everybody knows what procurement is, right? Yeah. As a startup, we got to go introduce ourselves, right? One of the core challenges is how do we accelerate adoption of robots in infrastructure in traditional industries that are moving slow but high value. We're seeing that a lot across Kansas City, and we're seeing that a lot across Iowa, and especially over in Nebraska, with a little bit modern, a little bit older time factories, tooling, industrial facilities, and especially CIDs. Some of the things that we've already done is we've did direct sales. We did the financing, the usual conventional institution capital model. We focused on customers, facilities, and delivery logistics. We went through partnerships, contractors, private deals, workforce integration, most importantly of all, public-private deals. Right now, in the city of Kansas City, we're actually working on our actual autonomy infrastructure piece called Call, and also our own artificial intelligence called Kecom. And also, we're still in the beta stages to making KeyServe actually work through direct sales. Here's a little bit about the infrastructure, the robotics infrastructure that we're building, right? Of course, we have the robotics hardware and solutions, but KeyServe plays a critical piece within our robotics infrastructure with having embedded financing on the robot. And also Keycurve, commercializing commercial and urban robotic services. Has everybody seen what Waymo is? Mm-hmm. Right? How about a company that's actually founded in Kansas City having their own robotaxi? Yeah. That's what Kecom is trying to accomplish in mobility. The lessons we've learned is the financing dramatically increases adoption, services plus maintenance, a long-term revenue mode, infrastructure positioning resonates more than a robotics company. Real estate equity groups are very, 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 very pro-robotics because of the areas that we covered. What didn't work? This is very, very interesting, right? Selling robotics as a standalone product, over-explain the technical complexity, targeting low-budget customers, and local accelerators. Everybody get that one? All right, and I said it proudly. The real insight here, right? The real opportunity isn't selling robots, it's owning the ecosystem around it. Because we plan on being a stakeholder in Kansas City. One of the biggest conversation pieces is how can we accelerate adoption in robotics infrastructure with the small businesses, facilities, and logistics sector while overcoming procurement and trust barriers. One of the biggest things that we're here in Kansas City doing today, and the reason why we love 1 Million Cups so much is we would love to build the trust with the community, actually educate them, and actually let you see exactly what robotics infrastructure actually does. All right.
Okay, we're going to do some Q&A. John.
Hi, so I'm just wondering kind of where your scope boundary is. So you're not hardware dependent, and you are kind of like pitching this infrastructure side, but are you making like firmware for the robots, or are you just doing off-robot software?
It's a great question. We actually do it all. I'm actually the actual coder for the actual software myself. We actually made the modules as well as the robot itself as well. right now, to be able to do pilots and prototypes, right, we are using somewhat open source robots, and also on the commercialized side, we are distributing robots. Like the Quick Trip robot, that's an actual distributed product. Yes.
And then you said like embedded financing. I kind of just wondered what you meant by that.
When you say embedded, that means actually on the product, right? Like inside of the software that's actually on the module. So the difference between embedded financing and standardized financing is making sure that the use case, right? Robots are meant to be used as a productivity tool, so we get paid for the productivity of the robot rather than financing the whole deal, right? So let's say we get paid for step 1 and 2, right? Most people try to get 1,000 steps, and you have to finance those 1,000 steps before that piece of equipment breaks down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So we're reassuring the productivity of our product. Yeah.
As for finding the ecosystem of where you might fit, I like that you're in franchises with Quick Trip, but why not approach schools, colleges, and things like that? Because that gets you a government contract in some regards, and it also, with all the budget cuts from the schools, this could be a way to take something off the teachers a little bit so that they get paid more.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, that's a great point right there, right? So I'm most of a fast-paced person, a very analysis-driven person, right? And my company is too, right? So one of the biggest things that we have done before, we looked at the supply chain and also the procurement processing, right? The more we enter into these relationships, right, as a Kansas City company into procurement, that's where the barrier is right there, right? Most of the Kansas City school districts or the Olathe or Overland Park school districts have a procurement process, right? Right now, we are actually securing some of that space in that real estate space, right? They already have vendors and different things like that. And we're trying to partner with their current vendors to bring in the solutions as well. So we're doubling down on our procurement process. We're trying to get it to the schools as soon as possible.
What it will do is build a platform for the next generation that are more comfortable around your foot.
Definitely, and guarantee us a workforce in Kansas City. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So my question is about compliance. So I was approached recently. I know nothing about robots.
Okay.
I avoid them at Quick Trip, make sure they don't step on me. But was approached about DoD contracts and putting these robots that clean the floors into major facilities. And so I started doing a lot of research on that. And so what we came to was that the barriers were just so high to gain that CMMC compliance and be able to, essentially launch that brand into these major facilities where they're still using like manual labor. And so have you guys done anything in that space, or is that an introduction that you would like, because I'm sure not going to do it, but yeah, have you done into that space at all?
Yes, ma'am. So, of course, the business, we've had to go through those steps before. I was actually just at a DoD conference. A big part of what we do is making sure that we are an American-based company, just to be able to follow that trend and to make sure that we have that compliance in. We're actually entering into a joint venture to be able to make sure that we're DoD compliant. Yes, ma'am. So that we serve the Department of War.
Oh,
just saying, so we'd be able to open ourselves up for opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
I'd love to make that introduction for you too, if you're interested.
Appreciate it. Thanks, ma'am. Hey.
Yeah, hi. I apologize. I came a little late, so you may have already talked about this, but at what stage of funding are you? Because it looks like a capital-intensive operation.
Yes.
And are you building your robots now or about to build your robots now? That's part one. And part two, are those also for farmers might need robots. Do you have any chance of expanding into other territories?
So we're expanding it up to over 23 different industries right now.
Okay.
Currently raising a first round at $5 million.
Okay.
So we're currently raising $5 million right now.
Okay.
I want to be able to open up a second round as soon as possible after prototyping our Homer project.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that I've seen that we know that we have to do here in America is actually manufacture our own products.
Yep.
We are actually at the cusp, very, very cusp of receiving funding.
Yep.
And going after investors, doing the due diligence. We have a lead investor. We're staying on top of him. We're staying on top of everything to be able to make sure that we close as soon as possible. There's some pretty intensive things that we got laid out. It's better to plan and be proactive, right? So we've been doing that. We got some great traction there. That's what I can tell you.
Okay.
And I'm more than open to talk to you about that.
Yeah, please, because
Yeah.
we would kind of partner on things that I'm working on, so I
Great.
would like to know. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, what was your name?
I'm Shashank Date.
Okay.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Yep.
Any more? Yes, ma'am.
So it's not necessarily a question, but just a piece of information that I wanted to give you. So I went to an event where there was a conversation around procurements and how to get certain contracts and things like that. And so the procurement officer for the city of Kansas City was there. And he was speaking of a new process that they are doing, that once you get a contract with them, the markers for your contract are not as extensive as they have been in the past. There'll be milestone markers. And so there is an association, I will get the name, I'm gonna try to shoot them an email real quick and get the name. But there's an association that you can join that will link you between the federal government, the city, and the state together to be in a network. So when they look for things like what you offer, you're already there, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you go through, so it connects you through SAMS.gov with the city and puts you in the state. And so I would love to connect you to that procurement officer and get you that information so that you can be on their list. Because a lot of what they talked about were like the small businesses like myself, like there's a place for you maybe, but what we're really looking for are people who can do these big commercial things. And so I would love for that connection to be made for you.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I actually seen you at that event. I actually
Oh,
spoke.
you sure did. I knew you was familiar.
So-
It was that event. Okay,
Yeah,
you was
so-
there. You don't need my information.
But I'll tell just so for other people, right? There was a procurement event here. I'm very, very daily active on searching out contracts and actually going out looking for resources. Very, very active. Like I actually tore a hole in my shoes trying to get to it. But we're actually there more than usual. The actual process that you mentioned, right? Part of that process, right? We have to identify as a community, right, the difference between businesses, startups, and companies, right? And if the startups don't partner with the local companies, right, and the companies don't support those people, right, we don't bridge that gap, right? And that's something we don't do effectively well here in Kansas City. So something that I'm doing, right, as a leader, as a founder, as a business owner, right, as a startup, is I'm going to the companies in my sector, in my supply chain, right, and I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. I show up to their events, I say hi, right, and we bridge that gap there.
Right.
So, it's a lengthy process either way through procurement. You don't get around procurement at all.
Right.
The city manager of KCK, great guy, right? The guy that works for the federal side of things, all of them have a very educated, complex understanding of the products we're going to offer, the things we're trying to do, right? And pretty much economically how it impacts Kansas City, right? So, well worth to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Keenen, you talked about doing a lot of things, so I'm a little confused. What would be your elevator pitch on what you do, what your company does, and why somebody would want to contact you?
Okay. From a customer side, or an investor side?
The customer side.
All right. All right.
Behind the mic, please.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry. All right. Be a part of change, but also be a part of a mission that puts smiles on every curbside and every home in America, right here in Kansas City. That's the one I got for you. When you actually purchase a product from Kecom, you actually ensure the next generation will have access to the infrastructure of tomorrow. That's my elevator pitch. They probably need to work on it a little bit, but it's there. Yeah. What else?
So I really appreciate what you said about procurement. So I did a lot of work on the West Coast,
Yes, ma'am.
and there were embedded people in the community,
Yes.
paid people doing what you were doing, to ensure the localization of major corporation supply chains that were embedded into the community. And so I think that is a huge miss. There are several corporations and companies, I don't know if you've interfaced with Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council.
Yes.
We don't have a location here anymore, but they have a new president, and they're really, really working to reinvigorate and rebolster that. I worked for them, not for that council, but for their national for a long time. And so maybe connecting in there and engaging with your board, or maybe even joining their board could be a good option as well. So that you can pass off some of those good ideas in the procurement space and not have to continue, kind of hustling that. But that definitely is something that I would love to see grow. And so if there's anything I can do to be helpful, please let me know on that front.
No problem. Our director of partnerships name is Mayshawn Purdue. One of the best things that he's done is reach out to that organization, the local chambers of commerce, like all 20 of them, and made sure that we have a secure pipeline for, as far as a secure pipeline for materials, supplies, resources, and opportunities. So, well aware of who they are. Every engineer in Kansas City tells me, "Hey, you need that," And I was like, "Hey, okay." So, yeah. Thank you, members. Yes, please.
Oh, no. We have one back there, and then we'll go up here.
Keenen, good presentation. I think I understand what you're doing. You're not just selling a product, you're selling a means to an end, right?
Yes.
Working with the government, with the DOD. Is that right?
No.
Or DOW now?
No.
No?
No.
No.
No. We want to open our opportunities up to do a lot of different things.
A lot of different things.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's that opportunity and that door is not closed. I don't want to sell to the DOD.
Okay.
We're building a infrastructure company within America, within American cities. So we're adding our piece of real estate to the development of America. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm starting a new company. It's in the GovTech space,
Mm-hmm.
and it involves real estate law,
Mm-hmm.
titling, property titling.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I'll be the source of the software as a service product.
Okay.
Is there any way I can interface with what you're doing?
I think if you talk about your product, when you pitch your product, mention me, right?
Yeah.
Because one day we'll be on the same vertical, hopefully one day. Yeah, because I think when you speak, you just say, "Hey, I know another company that's in Kansas City," and we mention each other.
Brent Lewis here. Right here.
Yes, sir.
I'm a head football coach, and I know a lot of times coaches, we get a bad rap for it's just about football. Well, I'm not that type of coach. What I wanted to ask and see how we could possibly partner is getting young athletes into this space, because our youth is the next is the next generation. What would how could your company support an inter-school team like me on building a robot to clean the locker room, to clean the school, as a robotics type of deal to get your company in the school? Well, first, like a partnership, because we all know, in my experience, athletes and kids in arts typically lead the way in a good school.
Yep.
So have you all even thought about a Kecom Kids or a Kecom type of program that serve underserved youth, to make that collaboration of, my parents don't have enough money to send me to college, but there's a company that saw tech, and now you're grooming future employees and people for your company. Have you thought about that space, or if that's something that you all would consider in the future?
No, it was startup day one. right? If you actually look at our brand, right, it's more favorable towards children, right? One of our legacy plans is to be able to actually go more into the recycling side of things and being able to make children's toys and different electronics. But as far as right now and today, right, what we're doing the most is we're actually serving on boards, right, and seeing where we could possibly fit and just showing our support there philanthropy-wise, you know, and making sure that they have the resources. Right now, we tried to join the board of KID. We've done, we're trying to partner with a youth reentry group. And they're actually coming in like every other Thursday at the office, right? And we're actually walking around and talking more about robots and doing different things like that. Yeah, I'm definitely open to talk about that. Yeah.
So I've got kind of a half developed idea, but what about the disabled community, people who can't work? What if there was a government initiative, right, to have robots out there generating wealth that somehow was protected in a way where it's directly financially benefiting individual people? I know that universal basic income was a conversation that was had in an election cycle. I think 2016 was a big discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a push to get that out there, the wealth that these robots are generating could be a sustainable thing, and I guess the PR of that would just be huge. Like your name, everyone would be, you know, your company is the one that generated this wealth for, you know, underprivileged people or disabled people.
Mm-hmm. So using robots to make money for...
Yeah, as a direct thing, so that like, and like I said, this is kind of an underdeveloped idea, but like, what if every person out there who was physically unable to work had assigned to them a robot out there doing work for them that generated wealth that they had a direct share in receiving?
Wow.
Brilliant. I'm telling you. You know, I think we should give that guy a round of applause. I truly agree with you, right? The use case for whatever robotics actually has to bring to the universe, I think that's amazing to them, you know? I think it's a great concept. I think you should work on it. I'm telling you. Seriously, man. Good? Anybody else? Any other questions?
All right, that's all we have time for right now, so we're gonna end with our question for you, Keenen, as we're getting ready to leave and as people are talking to you here in our last hour. What can we as a community do to help you?
Go to LinkedIn or go to Facebook for 1 Million Cups and ask people that are around you, have you ever heard of Kecom on Facebook, right? Just get on Facebook. It doesn't cost you anything. Say, have you ever heard of Kecom? Who is Keenen Smith, right? What does this company really do, right? I'll probably be on the news a little bit later on today, but people need to know what we do, right? Because we get the mission, right? If I win, you win, right? Say it with me. If I win, you win. Wait, y'all did that. That's not the way we do this. If I win, you win. All right. There we go.
Thank you, Keenen. Round of applause. All right, we have a slightly different format this morning for our second presentation. I'm going to be interviewing Celeste. Good morning, everyone. Celeste has been our lead organizer for quite some time now. What's the number of months? 12 months. So for the last year, Celeste has been carrying 1 Million Cups through some pretty significant transition. And we're also just going to be talking about 1 Million Cups as a whole, right? You notice there's a camera up here. You'll probably see clips of this on social media. So,
like and follow, please.
Perfect. All right, so Celeste, how did you get involved with 1 Million Cups?
Okay, so a couple of years ago, I went to GWKC. So, just a little bit of background story. I moved to Kansas City in the spring, April of 2023, and just wanted to get to know the nonprofit space. So that's where I focused all of my energy, getting coffees and all of that. And then I went to GW in 2024, my first time, and I was blown away with the entrepreneurial resources here in Kansas City. So I did a very intentional shift of moving out of trying so hard in the nonprofit space to integrating into the entrepreneurial space. So after GEW, I went to 1 Million Cups a few times and met Dr. Emma. And I think my third time, I wore a name badge, and she's like, "You should be an organizer." And I said, "What's that?" And she kind of explained it, and I said, "Sign me up."
That sounds about right. So if you look back on your time as an organizer, what are 1 to 2 moments, just a couple examples of something that really stands out to you from your time as an organizer?
Sure, I have 2. One is very quick. Earlier this year, there was somebody who presented to a very full room about sex toys and healthy sexual conversations and mindset. And the room responded so beautifully. She was so nervous, visibly, and just needed a minute and needed that verbal encouragement, and people were like, "You got this, you can do it, it's okay," they were just really encouraging to her. And that was such a beautiful moment to me because, it's an awkward conversation already, but then everybody, even after she gave her presentation, she did start and really did a nice job. And then the conversation afterwards was really beautiful as well. So that's the first one. The other one is a story that's more drawn out. Last summer, some of you might have come, there was an international delegation from Global Ties, KC, and I had stepped back in my business and was really being intentional about customer discovery. And so with them here, I realized some of them were also in the nonprofit space. They were CEOs in the nonprofit space in their countries. And I asked them to help make connections so that I could do discovery with international nonprofit CEOs. And they delivered. I got 10 to 12 international conversations. And the interesting thing is I went into it with an idea in mind of what I would be developing based on the interviews, which was a curriculum. Nobody bought the curriculum. And now I'm kind of glad about that because what has happened since then is in February I thought of something called the No Ask Fundraising deck. I'll do a presentation later about it, but basically since February, the deck has been printed in prototype. I've got beta testers for the deck, and I've now built the app. It will launch dark this week for specific beta testers. Global Ties KC is my second beta tester. So they not only provided the CEOs, but they're now an organization that is being a beta tester for me. And side note, next week they will be back. So come ready to take advantage of these great connections with people across the world. Next week is going to be fun. We're going to talk more about that later.
That's amazing, Celeste. I think that's just such a good highlight of the connections that happen in this space. It's not just presentations and question and answer, right? It's connections within the community. And you didn't mention this, right? But I know that Shashank here, sitting in the front row, who you met here, right? No, but I think that's such a good highlight.
Yes, he is helping. The app is going to launch hopefully by August 1st for the masses, thanks to Shashank. So I built it in Lovable. He actually got me started on that, got me physically started, and then said have fun, and now I'm addicted in app building because it's really cool. And then he's going to actually do the development of the actual app that will be used later. So yes, thank you. And I also want to mention that though what I'm describing with Global Ties isn't an organizer thing, it's a community thing. So even you guys in the room could have that same kind of connection experience by coming on a regular basis, like I keep saying, is the value of 1 Million Cups.
Absolutely. I mean, looking around this room, right, I can see at least 6 connections within this room, and keep in mind, I didn't start coming to 1 Million Cups until Global Entrepreneurship this year, 2025. And I'm an
Similar
organizer
story
now.
with me.
Yeah, and even in that short amount of time, as I'm looking around this room, I know of at least 6 business connections that I can see and I can point to, and I know exactly the connections that happen in this space right now, just since November. I mean, that's incredible. That's a highlight. That's just,
It's powerful.
yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yep. So Celeste, how has being an organizer changed your connection to the Kansas City community in particular?
I have people now in fellow organizers who I consider friends, and they're in my phone, and I call them for different favors when I need them. I have made friends that last week I was struggling with something, and somebody helped that with me and let me cry. And this is just a powerful space. When I have said the last few weeks I love this space, it's because of those deeper connections that I've been looking for since moving to Kansas City.
That's beautiful. So what would you say to someone who is sitting on the fence about getting involved more?
Do it, but don't do it blindly. This is work. It is the beauty of this space, the culture that happens, the pipeline being filled and having presenters. It doesn't happen just because it happens. It takes intentionality and work. So if you're going to do it and you are able to give that capacity, it is well worth the effort, and what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
That's great. And follow up to that, right? There is an intentionality to the rhythms of 1 Million Cups and how long organizers are on board. Expected term limits, right? 12 to 18 months typically, depending obviously on life circumstances. We all know in the entrepreneurship space, things change pretty rapidly, right? Something happens so you don't have that capacity anymore, or whatever that looks like. How have you seen that protect both the community itself and the organizer from burnout, that intentionality?
So I'm going to wear my nonprofit leadership hat here and say that I think that's a healthy cadence regardless of the group, because group needs evolve, and so the leadership team should also evolve with it. This space is of the community, for the community, by the community, which means by the community, the leadership, the organizing team should be evolving and changing and shifting as the needs of the group changes. And I think there's value to that, because then it doesn't get stagnant, or it keeps it fresh and lively, keeps people wanting to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know in some communities, organizers stay on for years and years because it's really good for them to, and then even in our community, right, there's organizers who roll off for a while and then come back on, and that's a really beautiful rhythm too, I think. So, would you like to tell us anything more about what you're doing next now that you are not going to be our lead organizer?
Okay, so the app that I have built is focused on board engagement. I'm calling it the Board Spark app, and it is a board engagement tracking system. And it's pretty phenomenal how much traction it already has gotten. The deck itself, which is what the first iteration thought was, is 52 actions board members can take between this meeting and the next. Each card has a clock indicator on it, so you will know if it's 15, 30, or 60-minute engagement, and it has a fireball indicator on it, which is 1, 2, or 3 direct, indirect conversations, direct conversations, and no conversations. So like posting on social media is no conversation, indirect conversation, direct conversation. And so the idea for the card deck is that each board member would choose something that they are comfortable with within the time frame and engagement and do that action before the next board meeting. When I rolled that into the app and started showing it to people, they were like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And because I hadn't published it yet, I was like, sure, that's got to stop. As a business owner, I have really gotten myself kind of in a pickle doing that. But so the app now tracks the actions that board members complete between this meeting and the next. It has gamified it, so each of those icons on it gives you a point. So if you say you're going to do it, and then you do it within the 30 days, so between this meeting and the next, you get bonus points. And there's a leaderboard when you log into the app, so the board members can see, in comparison to the rest of the board members in that org only, how they're doing in points. They can also get points for getting a personally meaningful gift, and they can also get points for RSVPing and attending board meetings. And then the final one right now is, if assigned, board members can be paired in mentor pairs for a new member to an experienced member, and they will track actions in that first year, 6 specific times. So the reason I chose those 4 KPIs is I used to work at a community foundation, and one of the things that as a funder we do is track some of these things to understand the health of the organization as a whole. And so these key indicators are things that nonprofit leaders can now see at a high level, and they can drill down and see board members specifically so that if they need to offer support, they can. And they don't have to be wasting time trying to figure out who needs more support. They can just see it at a high level. The other thing that I've done, so I've got board seats, I've got org leads that kind of see the health overall and trends over time. The next layer up is a nonprofit support organization, like a United Way or a community foundation. So if they order like 5 org seats, then they can see the trends of those specific orgs if they're trying to build capacity in orgs that they fund. So they can see the trends over time. They can see the aggregated information that rolls up. So they will not, the nonprofit support organization will not see specific board member information. They will only see the aggregated information for the org as a whole. It's pretty phenomenal how this has all rolled out. I'm just so excited about being able to share it with the world.
That's amazing, Celeste. As the CEO and founder of a nonprofit, thank you. I appreciate your work. So we are going to ask Celeste the closing question that she has been asking presenters every week for a year.
Yeah.
What can we as a community do to help you?
Thank you for that question. I have 2 things. One is, like I said earlier, I've kind of gotten myself in a pickle with what I've done, and I'm getting feedback like drinking from a fire hose, and I cannot handle what I have done. I would be really interested in partnering with somebody who can help me automate, particularly email feedback. I do have surveys that go out. Those are fine. When people share information with me verbally, I have a parking lot. But when I get emails and my inbox is already full, trying to capture the information automatically so I don't have to think about it when I see it, but when I'm really ready to see it would be helpful. So somebody to help with automation. And then the second thing I would really love help with is I'm looking for a paid position to kind of help offset the cost of onboarding this. I would ideally like something in fractional in operations for a nonprofit would be a great fit for me. So if you know of anybody who's looking for that kind of help, I would love to be connected.
Awesome, thank you. We have just a couple minutes for maybe 2 questions. If you guys would like to do any of the Q&A that we typically do, if anyone has any questions for Celeste or me. Yeah, Keenen, can someone?
Hey, friend, how you doing? Hey, Strive. Hey, I got it.
Yes. We are recording.
How you doing? Hey, have you tried Stripe AI? It actually integrates directly into your email and does exactly what you needed to do. I actually use it for myself to get feedback from investors.
Scribe, SCRIBE?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
AI. It's a very unique tool. It authenticates by itself, right? And it actually integrates real quickly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
I've just been informed we don't have time for more questions, which is fantastic. I would like to invite Ola just for a minute.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I think last year, January, February, we were actually having 1 million cups offsite in a different location. And 1 million cups had gone through different evolution, 1 million cups KC, and we needed to do some transition. When I stepped into the role, I had conversation with the organizers, with the community member, and asked them what do they want us to do. One of the things that they said they wanted us to do was to bring 1 million cups back to the Kaufman Foundation. We actually thought that was going to be very easy peasy, plug and play, but it wasn't that easy because we needed to consult with different stakeholders, make sure everyone was on board. And one of the things we also needed to do was to get more organizers to be involved. And hence the reason why Dr. Emma and twisted you into getting involved. But the transition was really hard for us to be able to do. And Celeste took on that big challenge. It was really hard. And to bring a new set of leaders, led them so effortlessly. What you're trying to do for nonprofit, you did it here. So if you are trying to figure out whether what our product is going to work, she's done it here. It's working very well. Because back then we used to have average of 15, 20 people show up, and then at the point we were breaking fire code here because this place was really filled up. And we just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for the incredible work you've done, and we are just so grateful for your gift, for your presence, for everything that you've done. As the foundation, our CFO is here, so I can't give you cash, but we can give you appreciation. So we'd like to give you this certificate of appreciation. So thank you so much. So thank you so much for everything. I wish you all the best. Please, all the help you can offer and you can give to Celeste, please give to Celeste. She knows what she deserves. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next, we're missing one organizer, but Celeste, we are so thankful for you as well. And so we have curated everyone on the organizers team a very nice orange basket. And we just want every single time that you see the color orange to remember this room, remember all of us still to be a champion of 1 million cups. Just think of all the founders and the spaces that you helped to elevate. So just thank you from us to you as organizers. We really appreciate you. Okay, so I know that we forgot to mention it at the beginning, but please don't forget to sign the QR or sign in on the QR codes. Shameless one.
Perfect. Okay, call out for next week's event. We are having a Rapid 1MC. This is with Global Ties. Celeste mentioned this from last year. It's happening next week. Breakfast starts at 8 a.m., so the timing is a little different. Both emails will remind you of that timing change next week as well. We will hear from, I believe it's 5 presenters, international presenters from the Caribbean and Latin America. And there will be, I think, 13 guests, right? So there will be more people than there are presenters. Excited to hear about that. The format will look a little different. We will be in the big room and big room at the back. Is that right, Emma? Okay. And then, and bring your friends.
Will it be recorded?
I believe it will be recorded as well. Yes, perfect. And that is a perfect transition to our next topic. I'm going to do this first. If you are interested in presenting, please scan the QR code. We would love to talk to you. And in addition, if you have already scanned the QR code and submitted an application and you have not heard from anyone back, please let us know. Sometimes they get lost in the system and we need to know, so your organizers, raise your hands, please.
What?
Thank you. Go talk to an organizer if you have already applied and you haven't heard anything back. Okay. On the topic of recording, we have a request for a sponsorship here. We would love to have better recordings. Right now, all of our recordings from the last few months that we have, that didn't have technical errors, are recorded with this tiny little camera over here. It is not a flattering angle, it doesn't work as people move around the room, and we would love to have a better recording. So there's a couple different ways that we could do that. If someone is great at video recording, we would love to have you join the team. Or video equipment costs around $150 to $200, we think. I'm not a video expert, so if there's anyone in the room who's a video expert who would like to chime in on that. But that's approximately the cost to get a decent camera for the space. Or if you know someone who would like to help with that. We would love our YouTube recordings, especially for presenters who put the effort out here that then they can use that presentation later to also support their business. That would be really helpful. So please talk to me or one of the other organizers if you have any interest in assisting with our video recordings up. Okay, thank you for coming. Please take a minute and scan this QR code. This is upcoming events in the community that you may be interested in. So there's a lot of different things that we update that all the time. We hear about an event. And if you have a community event that our 1 Million Cups community may be interested in, you can email us and we will add it to that document. I can go back to this slide in a second if you don't get this one. Next, social media. We are active on LinkedIn. We are active on YouTube. So if you'd like to follow us, here's all of the handles. And please, please, please make sure you sign that or scan the QR code on the back of the seat to sign in for the day. That is all we have for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We have the room until about 11 o'clock, so another hour for people to hang around and talk with each other.
Thank you.